Bienvenidos a un programa más de la serie. Hoy en adelante, el Distrito Escolar de Wauwatosa implementa un programa de enseñanza del español para sus 9 escuelas primarias. También Neighborhood Improvement Development es parte de una iniciativa de la ciudad que busca preparar a los compradores de casa contra la posible pérdida de su vivienda. Y Cristi Nieto, de la Oficina de Protección al Consumidor, habla sobre las 10 quejas más frecuentes. El sistema escolar de Wauwatosa tiene el compromiso de preparar a sus estudiantes con las herramientas necesarias que necesitan para un futuro exitoso. Como parte de esta misión, el distrito ha implementado el programa de idiomas del mundo, World Languages, en sus 9 escuelas primarias, en donde estudiantes de primero a quinto grado aprenden el idioma español por medio de cursos prácticos con tecnología avanzada. Nosotros visitamos los salones de clase de una de las escuelas.
¿Cómo estás, Adam?
Estoy muy bien.
Muy bien. Cora, ¿cómo estás?
Estoy muy bien.
Muy bien.
Well, the World Language Program started in the idea started in Wauwatosa long before I arrived on the scene. They had a long-range planning committee, and one of the recommendations that came out of that committee was for us to investigate having an elementary world language program. And so that was like back in 2007, and so a subcommittee met and came forward with a recommendation for the program. There are 9 elementary schools in our district and a charter school, and all of those schools have this program. There are 2,500 students that participate in grades 1 through 5. And we have 6.5 teachers that bring the language to students every day in the classroom.
Las estaciones. A ver, ¿cuáles estaciones? ¿Es invierno, primavera, verano, otoño? Riley?
Invierno.
Es invierno. Muy bien.
We have 5 thematic units here that we do, and they circle back every year and kind of build on each other. And so, for example, the first unit is getting to know you, and then second unit is community, and then there's travel and transportation. Unit 4 is healthy life, and then Unit 5 is responsibilities and traditions. And so they kind of circle back to that same theme every year, but we build on it and go further out, you know, kind of expand upon it.
¿Qué necesitas para ir a la biblioteca?
Con el libro.
Yo leo en la biblioteca con el libro. Muy bien.
When we presented the idea of having an early language program, our community was very supportive. Our teaching community, our parent community was very supportive. We had challenges that were related to, like all good things, some things have to be sacrificed to make them happen. We had to restructure our library media program so that we could find the staffing for the Spanish program. Fortunately, we were able to find a viable solution for that to make this program happen. But we really did not have objection to teaching young children a language. That was very well supported by everyone.
El libro.
Con el libro.
So far, the parents and the staff have been really supportive of our Spanish program, and I think not only the opportunity for their children to learn another language, but more importantly, to explore another culture. So we've had really favorable feedback. Many schools don't offer foreign language programs, so it's really awesome that Wauwatosa sees the importance of preparing our children with 21st century skills, and their ability to be able to compete in a global economy is going to be really important.
Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo.
I think it's great. I think it should be offered in every school. Spanish especially. It's the second most spoke language in the United States. It's going to create wonderful opportunities for kids if they have the ability to speak that language further on down the line in their education and life.
En agosto yo voy a Illinois con mi mamá, mi papá y mi hermano. Yo voy en una camioneta azul. Yo visito 2 lugares. Primero, yo voy a una playa porque quiero nadar y tomar de sol.
We really want our students to have an experience with language where they become fluent in the language and they have experiences understanding themselves in relation to other cultures so that they have a more global perspective about who they are as a citizen.
This year we're in our second year of the program, which is still relatively new. However, the students have a base of a whole year prior, so new students this year, and how to incorporate them in and get them up to speed on what we're doing. We do a lot of whole group stuff, and then we break it down to doing examples at the board together as a class. Then they might do a turn and talk to a neighbor until eventually they can get to that independent work. And so, for example, like those centers, those are something we created this year so that as a teacher, we have a chance to really get around and maybe give some extra time to those students that are struggling or that are having a hard time, or challenge those kids that are a little advanced and need a little more. So I think, our biggest challenge in general has just been that, to make sure that we can meet all the needs, especially when students are new to the district. Last year, some teachers had their own classroom and some teachers went into classrooms. And so we found that teachers going into the classroom, you're going into the students' workspace, you're going into their world, into their surroundings, and so Spanish becomes a part of their everyday school life versus it being like a separate entity at the end of the hallway that we do once a week and it's hidden, And so it's really like incorporated Spanish into the whole building.
24 menos 9 igual 15. Okay, uno más.
I would say it's a good challenge. The students are really engaged in the program and very enthusiastic about learning another language. And I think a lot of that stems from Mrs. Marino, our Spanish teacher, because of her expertise and her passion for the culture and the language. And it really permeates the program. And I just think her enthusiasm is really contagious.
It's just so neat to see that they can be so excited about a language, which is something that I actually didn't have, the opportunity to learn until much later in life. So I always think, like, what if I could have learned it at their age? That's just such an asset to them to be able to, and so it's just really neat to be able to see.
Well, if you have been in our classrooms, which I understand you have been, you will see that some of the immediate benefits are that our students are excited and engaged. We see wonderful teaching. We see students getting to visit not just Spanish, using the Spanish language with things that are familiar to them, but our Spanish teachers take the children around the world with their instruction. I've observed lessons where they don't just visit Spanish-speaking countries, but they also visit Germany and China and talk about what students in those schools are doing, and they practice their Spanish language in that way.
Well, I know that they look forward to going to Spanish class. I don't think they have it every day, but when they do have it, they do talk about that, about how they have Spanish today, and they like learning the songs. They come home and sing the songs. They say it makes learning the language easier and more fun.
I think it's awesome. I am so thrilled that Madison Elementary School can offer this for our students. And I think as we prepare kids for college and career readiness in the 21st century, it's imperative that they have a foreign language and, again, more importantly, really understand another culture.
10, 20, 20, 30, 34. Gracias, Rachel.
It's just fun, it's exciting to be able to be the person to be the first to introduce a new language and give the opportunity to kids to learn. A lot of these kids, it's their first time they've ever been exposed to a second language. And just to be part of a program that's more of a natural approach to learning a language, and that they're acquiring language through experience and through content versus rote memory, paper, pencil, memorize, and so just that, I think, in too is just awesome and really great.
La ciudad de Milwaukee está creando programas para incrementar el número de compra y venta de casas. Neighborhood Improvement Development es parte de esta iniciativa que además busca preparar a los compradores de casa contra la posible pérdida de su vivienda. Veamos este reportaje de Johnny Muñoz.
The Department of City Development has an affiliated nonprofit, the Neighborhood Improvement Development Corporation, or NIDC, and we work through NIDC to do a lot of our housing rehabilitation activities, whether it's make loans and grants to homeowners who already exist, who are existing homeowners who want to fix up their homes and make needed repairs. We also operate the Neighborhood Stabilization Program, which is to help people purchase and rehabilitate foreclosed homes, and to work with developers and other contractors to rehabilitate homes that will then be listed for sale for owner-occupants who want to buy a move-in ready, rehabilitated, foreclosed home. The Neighborhood Stabilization Program is funding that was provided by the federal government back in 2009 when they started to recognize the impact that foreclosures were having on neighborhoods across the country. And they gave money to cities to say, come up with strategies in your city that's going to best address vacant and foreclosed homes. And the city of Milwaukee has gotten 3 rounds of Neighborhood Stabilization Program funding, totaling almost $40 million to implement programs to rehabilitate foreclosed homes, demolish properties that are unsavable and are really causing problems on a given block, create affordable rental housing, as well as rehabilitate homes for sale to owner-occupants. There's a lot of people out there who still are struggling to pay their own mortgage and may need assistance and may not know where to turn. The city doesn't provide any counseling directly, but we have a lot of partners out in the neighborhood who, for free, will work with homeowners who may be at risk of losing their homes or feel like they can't make their payments. And there's counseling agencies out there who that's what they do. They're designed to work with people, help get them in contact with their lenders and negotiate solutions that allow them to stay in their home. It's very important that people who aren't worried they may not be able to keep their housing payments up get in contact with one of those counselors as soon as possible, because the earlier in the process that they do start working with them, the more options are usually available to them. There's a number of agencies in the city who provide housing counseling services, both for people who are at risk of losing their homes, existing homeowners who are at risk of losing their homes, or people who are interested in buying homes. A lot of times it's the same agencies who are helping both groups. And we have a full list of those on our website, and a number of those agencies, or almost all of them, have bilingual staff, and there's a few that are located on the south side also. All the agencies that I mentioned that are listed on our website are certified by the federal government to provide these services. They do it for free. There are a lot of other people out there, whether they're scam artists or people looking to make money off someone else's misfortune, that may be charging people to help with these services, and we always tell people to be very, very cautious. If someone comes to you and says, for a fee I can help you renegotiate your mortgage, because there are reputable agencies out there who will do it for free. And most of the time people pay somebody, oftentimes they're very upset with the results, and a lot of times it's an outright scam. The federal government has provided funds to help cities purchase and rehabilitate and demolish foreclosed homes. They've also recognized that one of the most important things is to help people stay in their homes so they don't get foreclosed and vacant to begin with. And that the way they've done that is by allocating additional money to those counseling agencies over the past few years to respect the fact that there's an increased demand for those services, so the government has continued to support those agencies to make sure they're able to provide the services in the community. So for people who are looking to buy a home, it is a good time. So one of the programs that our department offers is that home buyer assistance program. And the way that program works is if you locate a home that's foreclosed, it may be owned by the city, it may be owned by a bank. If it's in one of those target neighborhoods, and that's portions of the Sherman Park and Layton Boulevard West neighborhood, the city can help provide a second mortgage, which is forgivable, which means you make no payments and no interest, and if you live in the house for 10 or 15 years, depending on how much money you get, then it would be forgiven. And what that means is those funds can help you make repairs to the home. Almost all the foreclosed homes need some degree of repair, so our program can assist with that up to $30,000. There's a few things that participants in the program still need to do. They need to start by going to one of those agencies we talked about earlier, a housing counsel agency, and getting pre-purchase counseling, it's called, to make people understand the responsibilities of being a homeowner, what they can reasonably afford, how to qualify for bank financing, and then they need to go out, get qualified for a bank loan, and then work with an agent to start looking for homes in the target area, and then we can assist with the home buyer assistance program. If there's people out there who have lost their home in the past few years and want to get back on the path to home ownership, I'd recommend the same thing, which is to start working with one of those credit counseling agencies, the home buyer counseling agencies, to figure out what they need to do to get back to a place where they may be able to buy a home. There's also a group of agencies, and most of them are the same, who have kind of banded together in the community to say, we're a group of trusted partners. We want to make sure it's banks, realtors, counseling agencies who want to work with other reputable banks, realtors, counseling agencies. So they formed a coalition called Take Root Milwaukee, and that's another place to find resources to make sure that those are reputable providers of services, whether they're housing counseling services, people who offer mortgage loans, banks who offer loans, realtors, or other housing professionals. If you're looking to buy a home, your first stop should probably be a housing counseling agency. They will, they'll figure out where you are on that path to home ownership, whether it's, you're still in the very early stages and need to fix your credit, or you have great credit, you have a great stable job, and now you're just ready to get out and start looking at houses. They're in the best position to help you figure out where in that process you are, get you in touch with lenders who offer the best products and all, and realtors who know the market very well. The city also does have a number of homes for sale. We own a lot of homes, unfortunately, through the tax foreclosure process. So we do, as you mentioned earlier, we have a lot of homes for sale, and we make those available on the internet in our offices. And if people are interested in buying those, they do represent a pretty good opportunity, and they're priced very reasonably. And they can always look on our website or come to our offices to get information about that. We know there are still people out there who are facing foreclosure, and it's very scary, and people don't know where to turn. So I hope that people do decide to seek help from one of those agencies. I know it takes a lot of courage to let people know that you may be having trouble with your mortgage or whatever else is going on. But there's a lot of agencies out there who are willing to help with that, and they provide services free of charge. They've heard it all, they've seen it all, and they really are in a good position to help people in that situation. And for people who are kind of in the different boat and looking to purchase homes, this is really a good time. As we said, interest rates are low, prices are low because of what's happened in the economy the past few years. And there's also a lot of resources out there and help for people who want to do that. So whichever boat people fall into, I guess it's just to let them know that there's resources out there. TakeRootMilwaukee.com and MilwaukeeHousingHelp.org are both really good places to start.
Las quejas de telemarketing ocuparon el primer lugar en la lista de las 10 quejas principales del consumidor, publicada por el Departamento de Agricultura, Comercio, Protección al Consumidor de Wisconsin. Cristi Nieto nos habla de las quejas que el departamento más comúnmente recibe de los consumidores latinos. ¿Cómo puede presentar usted una queja y cuáles son los servicios y recursos que ofrece el buró a la comunidad? Cristi, gracias por estar con nosotros en Adelante.
Muchas gracias por invitarme, Patricia.
Cristi, háblanos de cuál es el trabajo que hace el Departamento de Protección al Consumidor al que tú perteneces.
Bueno, protección al consumidor significa las leyes y reglas que aseguran la práctica justa de negocios en el estado o en el país. Y en el Departamento de Agricultura, Comercio y Protección al Consumidor del Estado, lo que hacemos es informamos a los consumidores sobre sus derechos, su derecho a la seguridad, su derecho a escoger entre precios, entre productos, su derecho a tener toda la información importante sobre una compra. Y administramos esas leyes y reglas que protegen a todos nosotros como consumidores.
Bien, Cristi, ¿cuáles servicios pueden esperar los latinos que acudan a la oficina a la que tú perteneces? ¿Qué servicios específicos puede esperar la comunidad latina?
Bueno, para toda la gente de Wisconsin ofrecemos unos servicios. Los servicios que ofrecemos son información. Cualquier persona puede llamarnos y preguntar sobre una ley. ¿Hay una ley que limita el uso de esto en ese tipo de negocio? Puede preguntarnos información de contacto. ¿Dónde llamo si tengo problemas con ese tipo de negocio? También mediamos quejas. Entonces uno puede quejarse cuando tiene un problema con un negocio y mediamos la disputa. Y específicamente para los latinos tenemos servicios adicionales. Lo que ofrecemos es servicio en español. Contestamos la línea de asistencia en español y recibimos las quejas en español y los traducimos al inglés. Luego también ofrecemos talleres y presentaciones y eventos públicos por todo el estado para la comunidad latina para aumentar lo que es el conocimiento de esos derechos.
Bien, Cristi, ¿cuáles son las quejas principales que se escucharon en el año pasado, por ejemplo, si pudiéramos observar los datos que ustedes van acumulando?
Sí, en el año 2002, la queja principal fue la queja contra lo que es el telemercadeo. Entonces, cuando las personas reciben llamadas de ventas, en especial las llamadas automáticas pregrabadas, muchas veces una señora ya con su voz grabada nos llama y dice: hola, soy Rachel, represento a ese servicio de tarjetas y le voy a ofrecer bajo interés en sus tarjetas. Pero es un mensaje ya grabada y ese mensaje va básicamente molestando a personas por todo el estado. Y estamos alertando a los consumidores que cuando escuchan ese mensaje, que hay que colgar. No hay que oprimir el número 1 para removerse de la lista de esa persona ni nada, solo hay que colgar. Eso fue la queja principal. Luego de eso, las quejas que vimos eran quejas entre dueños y inquilinos de departamentos. Eso siempre aparece en la lista. También vimos muchas quejas de telecomunicaciones. Eso incluye disputas sobre las facturas de celular, cable e internet, por ejemplo. Y luego el robo de la identidad. Es una queja que sigue cada año subiendo y subiendo de lugar en la lista.
¿Tienen los latinos alguna queja específica diferente de otros grupos culturales donde son acosados o molestados mayormente o más que otros grupos étnicos?
No te podré decir eso de forma respaldada por estadísticas. Coleccionamos estadísticas sobre todos los contactos que recibimos y todas las quejas que recibimos, pero todavía estamos trabajando en un sistema para dividir esas estadísticas en términos de grupos culturales o de idiomas. Pero sí sé decir de forma más de anécdota que en mi trabajo recibo muchas llamadas y muchas quejas y he visto que la mayoría de las llamadas que recibo en español y de latinos tienen que ver con situaciones de dueño inquilino de departamentos. No recibí mi depósito de seguridad. ¿Es cierto que me pueden desalojar de esta manera? Preguntas así. Y luego estafas, que es muy común que los latinos sean a veces blancos de ciertas estafas por el simple hecho de ser una comunidad en que muchas personas hablan español y muchas personas no hablan inglés y les hace más fácil a los estafadores engañar a las personas diciendo que no, hay una ley que dice tal y usted va a ser arrestada si no hace tal. O mentiras así.
Sí.
Eso es lo que vemos más de lo que a lo mejor vemos en otras comunidades.
Muy bien.
Sí.
¿Existe la posibilidad de que grupos que no hablan como principal idioma el inglés en operaciones mayores obtengan los contratos en su propio idioma? ¿Existe alguna ley que proteja esta parte de la transacción?
Sí, hay una ley que dice que una persona que firma un contrato tiene que entender lo que dice el contrato. Entonces, si uno ha firmado un contrato que no entiende y tiene un problema con este contrato, habrá que llamar al Departamento de Protección al Consumidor y investigar específicamente qué tipo de contrato fue y cómo funciona esa ley cuando tiene que ver con ese producto específico. Pero uno sí tiene derecho de entender lo que está firmando.
Muy bien, si alguna persona, alguien en nuestra audiencia es víctima, siente que ha sido tratada injustamente y no se le cumplieron los servicios, se le hicieron cargos mayores de los que esperaba en su cuenta del internet o del teléfono, ¿de qué manera tu oficina lo puede ayudar?
Bueno, lo que podemos ofrecer es una explicación de las leyes que tiene que ver con ese producto o servicio. Por ejemplo, si el producto es televisión cable, podemos mandarle un paquete de información sobre cuáles son los derechos del consumidor cuando uno es cliente de televisión cable. Uno tiene el derecho de saber de antemano cuánto va a costar el servicio, cuándo va a subir el servicio, si van a quitar canales, uno tiene que tener cierta noticia, todos esos detalles. Y si el problema sigue, podemos ayudarles a presentar su queja. Y lo que hacemos es recibimos la queja, investigamos las leyes que tienen que ver con el caso y correspondemos con la compañía de parte del consumidor diciendo esa es la queja que recibimos y cómo respondan ustedes. Y intentamos mediar entre las dos partes. Ni tomamos ni una parte ni el otro, pero mediamos entre las dos para intentar ver una resolución.
Bien. Cristi, ¿existe alguna línea de asistencia, algún teléfono en que la gente pueda ser atendida en español, por ejemplo, en el caso de los latinos?
Sí, lo que yo recomiendo es que todos llamen a la línea de asistencia general. El número es el 800-422-7128. A ese número se puede llamar y puede pedir asistencia en español y inmediatamente el consumidor será transferido al teléfono de una especialista bilingüe en protección al consumidor. También tenemos el sitio web y tenemos nuestra información sobre las leyes en español en el sitio. Y ese sitio es el datcp.wi.gov.
Cristi, muchísimas gracias por tu ayuda.
Muchas gracias.
Y al final de un programa más de Adelante, por favor déjenos saber sus comentarios en nuestro teléfono 297-7544 o escríbanos a nuestra dirección de correo electrónico en adelante@matc.edu. Y visítenos en nuestro sitio del internet en mptv.org y en Facebook. Sintonícenos en Milwaukee Public Television, canales 10.1 y 36.2, todos los martes a las 6:30 de la tarde, y en canal 36.1 los miércoles a las 12:30 de la medianoche y los domingos a las 5:30 de la tarde. En Wisconsin Public Television WPT 38.2, los martes a las 6 de la tarde y los jueves a la 1 de la mañana. Y en MPTV Vemi 10.3 los viernes a las 6:30 de la tarde y los domingos a las 8 de la mañana. Soy Patricia Gomez, gracias por acompañarnos.